So last year, I graduated with my master's. And around that time, I was going through a lot of difficulties outside of my academics. Academics have almost never been something that I've actually been worried about. And by the way, this is going to be unedited and probably a little bit of a longer video. Just figured I'd do like a let's talk about it, hang out with me type of deal. Oh. Yeah. But, like I was saying, I had graduated with my master's, and at the same time, I was going through other difficulties in my life that the assistant dean of my program and my therapist were aware of. And I was jokingly talking about how I should write a book because some of this stuff is absolutely insane what's going on, and both of them unjokingly agreed and supported that idea. So once I was done with my schoolwork, I started working on the book, but didn't finish it until this year because the chaos that was happening in my life became so much that I was not able to do much more than take care of myself doing daily stuff. If I brushed my teeth and ate one meal most of those days, it was considered a miracle. But I digress. So I'm in a little bit of a better position mentally and financially, and I was like, I have always wanted to write a book. It's on my bucket list item, and other people support this idea other than just those two. Fuck it, I'm gonna go with it. I was toying with the idea of calling the book Homeless at Home at first, but while the alliteration is there, I don't know, something about it was just not quite right. And I like alliteration, and I knew that if I wanted to write the book, I was going to have to show myself some grace. It wasn't going to be a fancy traditional book, and so I called it the Clusterfuck Collection because everything in the book is presented as it was in my head. So there might be a short story and then 4 poems and then another short story, or there might be 10 poems, a short story, a poem, another short story. There's no rhyme or reason to the structure per se. So I guess I'm all over the place. That is the how and what of the structure of my book. But then the content, I decided on short stories and poems because there are many aspects to who I am, and I was I don't know which ones are going to be presented, so I figured my first book or set of published works could be a sampling. And then, now the poems don't have titles, but the short stories do. That was just so I could also make it easier, because I do have an audiobook coming out, but I digress. Where was I going with this? Oh, the poems and short stories. It is a collection and a random collection because I wanted to expand on some of these ideas, but only after they have been presented to people, because the story that I love might not be the one that people, the one I loved sharing and writing might not be the one that people connect with the most. And so say somebody reads the 3rd short story and is oh, I really want to know what happens there. My hope was that I could then turn that into a full-length book, or maybe there's 2 that are really popular or 3 that are really popular, and I could be oh, well, maybe I will make another book with only those 3 short stories, but elaborate more on the plot and whatnot. So I know I'm advertising like crazy for my book, and I just say that I have a book out, but I don't say too much on it, so sorry this wasn't the TLDR. Oh, also, there are parts of my book, there's like Easter eggs that allude to short stories that were written by other people that I like, so it was my way to like honor them in my writing and show my inspiration. Also, there are angel numbers throughout the book whenever it was like relevant. The price of the book is an angel number, one of the short story titles is an angel number, and if you know angel numbers, you will realize their significance and their involvement and placement throughout. Yeah. I really liked this. I enjoyed the whole process of creating my own book, and, I am really secretly hoping that some people fall in love with my work enough as well, so that, like, someday I can continue elaborating on those stories, because I really like creating, and apparently, writing is another creative outlet that serves a really good purpose for me and others.